This morning, new details on Australia's biggest cocaine bust from Sydney's west. Peace hangs in the balance as fresh strikes threaten to implode the fragile Middle East deal. The manhunt continues for the gunman who murdered an ex-boxer in Melbourne. And Australia's biosecurity measures put to the test, working to contain the spread of bird flu. That's all coming up on the Sunrise Early News.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
Good morning. A cross-border drug operation has seen police bust the largest ever cocaine haul in Australia's history. The AFP, along with Queensland and New South Wales police, allegedly seizing 2.7 tonnes of cocaine with a street value of around $816 million. Authorities say the drugs were brought to North Queensland on an international ship before being transported to Sydney. Detectives allegedly found 3 shipping containers with false bottoms on a Western Sydney property during raids last week. 2 men in their 20s are facing multiple drug importation charges and have been refused bail to face court again in August. 6 other people from both states have already been charged and remain before the courts. The already fragile ceasefire between the US and Iran is in jeopardy this morning as President Trump threatens to resume attacks on Iran. Live to Miley Hogan in Washington, D.C. Miley, this was short-lived. Negotiations have now stalled.
Eddie, this is really an evolving situation. Every time we hear there is progress, there is then a major setback. The latest is that the negotiations have now stalled. Iranian state media saying that their delegation left the room around 80 minutes into those talks after an insult from US President Donald Trump. Donald Trump telling Fox News that he would return to bombing Iran and that he would potentially take over the Strait of Hormuz, potentially introduce tolls as well, if an agreement could not be reached. He also told Fox News that he rang Iranian officials and warned them that if they closed the Strait of Hormuz, they would, quote, not have a country. Now, all of this, as well as he put this message on social media saying that Iran must immediately stop their highly paid proxies in Lebanon from causing trouble. If they don't, we'll hit Iran very hard again. Now, this commentary was taking place as his vice president was in Switzerland just before he went into those negotiations. He was saying that progress had been made in those talks. Take a listen.
What the president has asked us to do is turn over a new leaf, to transform our relationship with the people of Iran. If they are willing to give up nuclear weapons ambitions for the long term, then the United States is willing to fundamentally transform our relationship with that country.
The point of these discussions was to try and turn this temporary truce deal into a more permanent one. Those major sticking points are still Iran's nuclear ambitions, Lebanon and the Strait of Hormuz. But this really has exposed just how far apart both sides still remain, Eddie.
And the world waits once again. Thank you, Miley. The grandmother of missing South Australian 4-year-old Gus Lamont has spoken exclusively to 7 News, denying she killed her grandson in September last year. Josie Murray has been revealed as the main suspect in Gus's death, with police almost ruling out abduction in the case.
And I know that I've been accused of taking him from where he had an accident and died and taking him out and burying him, but to think that I could actually go out there and do something like that, to think that I would be stupid enough to do it, for a start, is ludicrous. There's no way.
Ms Murray says she still believes Gus is alive and that he was kidnapped from the property. There are fears of retaliation and revenge attacks this morning after a former boxer was gunned down in a public Melbourne underworld execution. Hus Skinny Dehani was shot as he left an Ascot Vale venue, stumbling around 100 metres before collapsing just after midnight and later dying in hospital. He'd been linked to the Finks outlaw motorcycle gang, his shooter jumping in a getaway car and remains on the run this morning. WA authorities are working to determine whether a deadly strain of bird flu has spread. The virus, which has caused devastation to animals and agriculture right around the world, was brought to our shore by 2 migratory birds. Farmers in the Esperance area taking action to protect their livelihoods.
This is the bird flu front line. Rangers are searching for any signs of sickness among the Esperance bird population.
Time over this next week I think will be really, really important, just to find out exactly where it is and how far it's gone.
The H5 strain of bird flu was confirmed in 2 seabirds in the Cape Legrand National Park yesterday. The response immediate. Just in the last 24 hours, there's been 16 reports of unwell birds between Perth and Esperance. 5 of those are seabirds and 2 close to the confirmed cases. Further tests now underway.
We're hoping that this is an isolated case.
The region is a hotspot for migrating birds, stoking fears that could speed up the spread of the disease.
We know that there is a massive amount of migratory birds that travel through the area at different times of the year, so it will have a huge impact on those bird species, which again will have an impact on tourism and just the environment as a whole.
The Cape Legrand National Park is postcard perfect Australia. From the white sand beaches to the crystal clear water, it's home to dozens of unique and endangered species, all of that at risk if this virus spreads. The threat being felt by farmers. Gavin Millard has been breeding chickens for 15 years and selling them across the state. Now he and other nearby farmers are in a voluntary lockdown.
Everyone was in full agreement, just basically let's lock things down try and keep ourselves all as isolated as possible.
Experts say those working with animals need to be tested.
Surveillance is extremely important. You have to look at wildlife carers, rangers, veterinarians, poultry workers and whatnot.
Extra care needed as Australia is no longer the only continent without the deadly disease.
We're checking Monday's weather now. Brisbane, morning rain and 22. Sydney, possible showers and 19. Canberra, a bit of fog around this morning, 14. Melbourne, partly cloudy and 15. Hobart, cloudy and 13. 15 in Adelaide, bit of cloud around there. Perth, shower or 2 and 19. And Darwin, sunny and 31. Well, still to come on the Sunrise Early News, the royal family ring in Father's Day celebrations in the UK and a special first for Canberra with direct flights to Bali launching today. That's next on the Sunrise Early News.